Kate Moody joins me. Kate, we're going to start in Argentina, where the government has eased some restrictions on buying foreign currency. Tell us more.
Well, this comes a day after the peso suffered its sharpest one-day fall in over a decade. People in Argentina will now be able to buy U.S. dollars for their personal savings accounts, and the tax rate on those dollar purchases has been reduced. Since the country's default in 2002, dollars have been the go-to reserve currency, but because of strict regulation, a black market has flourished. The government has been supporting its local peso on the financial markets, stopped this week as those measures became too expensive, and Thursday saw the peso slide 11% against the dollar. President Cristina Fernández de Kirchner has been struggling to boost economic growth. Private analysts estimate that Argentina's inflation tops 25%. Now, since those reforms were announced, we've heard from the deputy chief of the International Monetary Fund, who says his organization will be happy to help Argentina if needed. We'll turn to Davos now, where political and business leaders have been discussing the state of the global economy. France, in particular, has come in for some criticism as its economic recovery lags. The president of the EU Commission, José Manuel Barroso, calling on François Hollande's government to step up the pace of reforms. Our team at the World Economic Forum caught up with the French finance minister, Pierre Moscovici, asking if he thinks France really has become the new sick man of Europe.
France is not under attack, and French bashing is something stupid. It's part of caricature and prejudice. France is the fifth economy in the world. It's the second economy in Europe. It's a strong economy with the capacity to innovate, with a strong educational system. Of course, this country, as others, is in the crisis and is getting out of the crisis now. And this country needs to improve its economy. We need to reduce our deficits. We need to reduce public indebtedness. We need also to strengthen competitiveness and attractiveness. And this is precisely what we are doing. We are reforming this country.
France's finance minister there speaking exclusively to France 24 in Davos. Now, concerns about Argentina, as well as the political troubles in other emerging markets, saw a major sell-off on global markets this Friday. Major losses here in Europe. The CAC 40 here in Paris closing down about 2.8%. Germany's DAX down about 2.5%. The FTSE in London more than 1.5%. Right across the board on Wall Street as well. The Dow sliding over 250 points so far. The S&P has dropped below a key 1800 level for the first time in over a month. And all the major indices are headed for steep weekly losses. In South Africa, negotiations are underway to end a pay dispute between platinum mining firms and tens of thousands of striking workers. South Africa is the world's top producer of platinum, responsible for some 80% of global output. One firm said it was losing revenues of about $9 million a day because of the strike action. Workers who have been blocking roads and throwing stones are demanding better working conditions and double their minimum monthly wage.
The talks, it's about the demands of our members that were presented into these three giant companies. Hence, then the intervention of the state was to mediate or to facilitate this process. In their books, these companies, they've got trillions of rands. So now, why can't they pay these employees who build this mine?
Let's take a look at some of the day's other business headlines now. The United States has banned products from another factory of India's largest pharmaceutical company. RANBAXY Laboratories can no longer provide drugs produced from 4 of its factories to American consumers. U.S. regulators said they were concerned about substandard quality. RANBAXY shares slid nearly 20%. Minimum wages are not being paid at some 40% of garment factories in and around Dhaka. That's according to a manufacturers association in Bangladesh. The government raised the minimum wage for textile workers under heavy pressure in November, boosting salaries some 77% to $68 a month. And bigger than expected profits from Microsoft as its new Xbox games console boosted holiday sales. The world's largest software company said overall revenue rose 14% to $24.5 billion in the last quarter of 2013. There's still no word on who will take over as chief executive when Steve Ballmer steps down. Current CEO says he'll leave his post before August. I'll be back with another business update later in the evening. For now, it's back to you, Tom.
Thank you very much indeed, Kate. Well, it's time now for a check of what's getting people blogging, clicking and sharing online. Web News starts right now.